I don't know, man. It seems like the world has gone crazy. Welcome back, y'all. Madness. Listen, go ahead and smash that subscribe button and hit the link next to the subscribe button so you're notified every time a new video goes up. 10 people were shot today, this morning, inside a subway train in Brooklyn, New York, after a suspect put on a gas mask, set off a smoke canister, and then began shooting at commuters. This is what the city officials said. This is some scary stuff. This sounds like somebody who might have watched one of those military movies. Like, they put on a gas mask, they set off a canister of smoke, and then they started pop, pop, pop shooting. That's crazy. People are going to be traumatized by this. You know what I'm saying? 16 people were injured in all in the incident, 10 of them by gunfire. New York Fire Department Acting Commissioner Laura Cavan said in a briefing, attributing the other injuries to smoke inhalation, shrapnel, and panic. People were literally panicking to the point where they needed medical help to calm them down from the panic, because their panic was so severe, like they were about to have a heart attack. See what I'm saying? Now you got to remember, man, this is New York. And you got to remember, this is where 9/11 happened, when planes came from out of nowhere and hit the World Trade Center. So anything that happens in mass, especially in like subway areas, is confined. It's scary. It could be scary, very frightening. You're trapped in a subway. You got a bunch of people that are moving left, right, up, down, here, there. Everybody's trying to get away, get to safety. Nobody knows where to go. The shooter set off the smoke first, so it's not like everyone's clear where gunshots are coming from. All you know is people are getting shot. You see blood, and you hear more shots being fired. Pop, 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 pop. 5 of the shotgun victims were in critical but stable condition, but there were no life-threatening injuries, officials said. Thank God. No life-threatening injuries, but 5 of them were in critical but stable condition, which means it was pretty serious, but they're going to make it. It wasn't serious enough to take away their lives. So the attacker fired a handgun and then fled the scene. Police officials called on the public to contact them with any photos, any videos, or any information that they could shed some light on the incident or leave them that might lead them to the suspect. Here's the thing. I was told that this place just got renovated, and through all the multi-million-dollar renovation that took place, they still did not put in a high-tech security system with surveillance cameras into this place. Kenneth Foote Smith told the local NBC TV station that he was in a train car ahead of the one where the attack happened just before 8:30 a.m. this morning. By eyewitness account, Kenneth said it began in the N train as the N train pulled out of 59th Street station. He also said that he saw white smoke billowing in the adjoining train car, and then he heard the loud bangs. We crowded into the end of the car, he said. It was just a really scary moment for everyone. He said the train stopped inside of the tunnel. Now you gotta imagine, right? If you're claustrophobic and that train stops inside of that tunnel, and then there's smoke, and then there's gunfire going off, and then, listen, and then there's panic, and then there's people moving everywhere, screaming, crying, people getting hit. You don't know if you're gonna get hit next, because nobody knows where it's coming from. He said the train stopped inside of the tunnel, and then it traveled into the 36th Street station in Brooklyn's Sunset Park neighborhood, where the conductor told passengers to get onto an adjoining R train. He and others, including some who were injured, took that R train to 25th Street, where emergency personnel tended to the wounded, he said. Now, after initial reports that undetonated devices had been found at the scene, the New York City Police Department tweeted that there was no active explosive devices at the station. So they had to call in the bomb squad and they had to comb the area and see if there were any explosive devices. Like I said, this could be very triggering, especially for people who were around for 9/11 to have to go through this again. Police were searching for a suspect, described as a black man wearing a green construction vest and a gray hooded sweatshirt. I mean, that ain't much to go off of. Videos from the scene showed people tending to bloodied passengers that were laying on the floor of the station. Now, of course, I can't show the bloody passengers here on YouTube. YouTube will not allow it, right? They'll shut my channel down for that. But to give you a description of what the scene looked like, other videos of the immediate aftermath showed smoke coming from open doors of a train car as it pulled into 36th Street Station. Wow. Officers in the scene, they said that officers were on the scene in the hour after the attack, actively searching for the attacker. Officers are actually going through the tracks, walking in the tracks, looking potentially for the shooter or looking for fragments of bullets, anything that could lead them, any ballistic evidence, anything that could lead them to a suspect. This is going to be an ongoing investigation for many hours, at least initially, not only looking for the shooter, but also gathering evidence as well. Now, more than a dozen police and fire vehicles with blue and red lights flashing were on the streets outside the station, and federal officials from the FBI and other agencies joined them as the morning wore on. There's something here. It's going to be a collaborative operation. We have to take a collaborative approach to this, is what NYPD retired Lieutenant Darren Porcher was saying. NYPD detectives will be working with members of the FBI Joint Terrorism Task Force and agents of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. Also, investigations will be seeking to assemble video footage of the suspect entering and leaving the subway system, and they will seek to determine the potential source of any smoke devices that were recovered at the scene. Trains in and out of the station were stopped, causing major transport delays. Schools in the area were put on lockdown with students sheltering in place. New York City Mayor, who right now is battling COVID-19 and is in isolation, he issued a video statement thanking those who responded at the scene, calling on the public to contact law enforcement if they have any information that could lead them or help them to find out find out who did this. You know, New York of lately, man, has been like a wild west kind of scene. Gun violence is a continuing issue in the U.S. There's been 131 mass shootings in the U.S. Wow. Including this one. And more than 5,000 people were killed in shootings nationwide so far this year, according to the Gun Violence Archive, a data tracking group. Let that number sink in for you. 131 mass shootings in the U.S., including this one. And more than 5,000 people have been killed in shootings nationwide so far for this year alone. We in April just started the year. We're only 4 months in, and over 5,000 people are already dead from gunshots. This is serious. This is a serious issue. You know what I mean? And of lately, let's talk about New York. It's been getting turned up lately. I see a lot of people playing politics. Oh, we need a Republican, a conservative mayor, because the Democrats are full of shit and they're not doing anything but running the city into the ground and all this other stuff. I've noticed a trend in New York that I never saw this before. I mean, when I lived in New York, Mayor Giuliani was the one that was in charge, and stop and frisk was fully active. They used to like harass us in Brooklyn on the block, just standing in front of your building. A police car would pull up and they would jump out, spin you around. They wouldn't even tell you to turn around. They'll spin you around physically, kick your feet apart, search you, and then jump back in their car and get on their way. It was pretty abusive, right? But nowadays, I see them doing something in New York like young people that's running and gunning in broad daylight, shooting at each other. Some of them are getting caught, and then they go to jail. They get locked up, and they're out on bail. And I'm like, when did this start happening?